Hey guys, alright, so in this video we are going to both alias columns and we will also alias computed or calculated columns. So let's take a look. First, notice that in our database we have the ID, which is the primary key, right? That's the one that identifies each record uniquely. We have the name, the title, and the money earned, and that is it. So what we are going to do now is add two columns. One will represent the actual take-home pay, and the other one will represent the tax paid on the income. So common calculations and applications. So use my DBase. Step number one. Now you're going to say select all from dbo.table1. And so you always begin with the simplest thing so that you are very clear. There you go. This is all that's available. Now we pare down the columns and use aliasing. Alright, so we're going to say name as first name, and then we will do title as employee title, like that, and then we can do the following. Money earned as salary. Now hit enter and break it down to the next line, like that, so it fits on one screen. That's fine, that will still work. And now we're going to introduce the concept of a computed column. So type money earned multiply it by 0.67. So imagine the tax rate is 67%. To find 67% of a quantity, you multiply that quantity by 0.67. And you can alias this as take-home pay. This is the actual amount of money available to each person. Alright? And then comma, and then we're going to find the tax amount. So multiply money earned times 0.33. Remember, this takes 100%, right? The money earned multiplied by 0.67 is the take-home. And the rest of it, which is 33%, means money earned multiplied by 0.33 tells you the tax paid. As tax paid, like that. Unless you work for Enron. And they do kind of, Alright, they did some bad accounting in the early 90s. Right, that cost a lot of people everything, so it wasn't actually funny at all. It's tragic. Okay, let's also change this here name. Okay. Alright, so let's review the query. That's what we have so far. Let's run this. Now, if you get an error, it appears red the way this has, and it says incorrect syntax near money earned. Alright, so how do you do that? What you have to do is come back and say, alright, anytime I list columns, I've got to put a comma like that. You see how it fixes everything nicely? There we are. Hit execute. And now notice that we have the first name, an employee title, a salary, a take-home pay amount, and a tax paid on that take-home amount. Okay? And as before, we can continue to refine everything. So specifically, we can now say all of this can be deleted. Let's delete this, and all the stuff that we learned previously, for example, where money earned. Okay, and now you can say point times 0.67. Okay, not between 170,000 and 250,000, like that. And let's say order by money earned multiplied by 0.67. There you go. So you can let's take a look at the results. This is our query. Executed. There you go. So select the name here, the title, and the money earned, the salary. Then money earned multiplied by 0.67 is the take-home pay. Money earned multiplied by 0.33 is the tax paid. Select that from the table. Further, do this where the money earned multiplied by 0.67, which is the take-home pay, is not between 170 and 250. So that means it's either less than 170. So if you look at the take-home pay for each of these, values here, okay, or it's above 250,000. So S value here is, if you look at it, 2,345,000. There you go. So it satisfies the condition. And lastly, order this by money earned multiplied by 0.67. So money earned multiplied by 0.67, of course, is the take-home pay, and it's ordered, as you can see, in ascending, so from lowest to highest. And if you like, you can type descending on the query again. Now it's ordered from highest to lowest on the take-home pay column, like this. Alright, which is computed, because remember, there isn't an actual take-home pay or a tax paid column present in the database. These are computed quantities. Okay, they're computed using a small amount of mathematics and existing columns. There you go. So make sure type the query, run it line by line. So write a little bit, run, and make a modification, run, make another modification, run, until you truly understand what the impact is of every little modification. That way you will develop a very deep understanding of all of this relatively quickly with minimal frustration. So step by step, very sequentially, is a good way to learn anything whatsoever. Okay? There you go. So focus, in other words, on the process. And if the process is structured correctly, then the result that you intend must be correct. Alright, thanks very much, and I will see you in another video. And actually, before I go, if you do the analysis of the query now, you see that? This is important. The select is 0. The sort, again, is quite expensive. And it says compute scalar. To compute a scalar means to compute a quantity. Notice that here this is basically 0% of the cost of the query. Right? So the computation of money earned times 0.67 is not expensive. Okay, the same thing, of the money earned times 0.33, which is a tax paid. Again, not that expensive. Okay, so sorting still is expensive. So that's why you want to look at the query analysis down below, because that will tell you a lot of useful information. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in another video.